All right, we're going to start the meeting. It's October the 4th. We'll have the invocation by myself, the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Firstner, then roll call. Please stand. Heavenly Father, we come tonight to do our business for the city of Ocoee and for the citizens of Ocoee. We wish that you would watch upon us as we go about our duties. And also, we asked you to look after the people this week and last week that we had this storm, especially the people on the southwest points of Florida and the devastation of their area. We ask that you watch over them as they go through this process. Watch out as our first responders and their first responders are out working to straighten this out. We ask in your heavenly name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Brunson?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
Okay, presentations, proclamation, we had one tonight, was Community Planning Month. It will be October 2022. Staff reports.
Mayor, number 8 on the agenda tonight, the developer has requested that we postpone this to some point in the future where they can present a new offer to the city for that property. So we're requesting to pull that this evening. We also have an emergency item in front of you about the Ocoee High School homecoming parade. I believe we have some folks from the high school who are going to address it during public comments. If you want to take action on it then or now, it's up to you.
Did anyone speak?
Do you want them to speak now?
All right, we got 3 minutes. Whoever's coming up, come on up.
Yeah, Mayor, just real quick, you'll see that we had a special event permit come in last week, and I noticed it was for a parade which would require a period of road closings around City Hall, and it's on a Tuesday night, October 18th, which is a commission night. So I not only was able to bring this forward on this commission meeting to discuss the road closure, but also notice, obviously, that there could be an issue with closing the roads as proposed and potentially shutting off the City Hall access to the commission meeting. And so I reached out to Garrett, who filled out the application for Ocoee High School to come in and to discuss this and see if we want to work something out. Of course, we want to have a homecoming parade, but just the parameters they kind of applied for last week, to me, didn't seem to fit, and we can discuss that here. Thanks.
Okay. Hey, young lady.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Robin Young, Ocoee High Student Body President, and I'm accompanied by my SJ advisor, Mr. Garrett Kelly. I first want to say thank you so much for being open to Ocoee High having this parade. We first would like to propose having the parade on Thursday, October 20th, instead of Tuesday, due to the time conflict with the commission meeting taking place at the same time. All participants would arrive at 4:45 p.m. at Bilbreeze Park, and then the parade would begin at 5:30 and end by 6:15 p.m. the latest. And SGA members would clean up and leave the premises by 7:15 p.m. The Ocoee High School Homecoming Parade is taking place to ignite the spirit of our student body. Our JROTC would begin the parade, then all our sports and clubs would follow after. And then our band would perform, and then our homecoming court would drive through, and lastly, our cheerleaders and football team would close it all. This event will help Ocoee High connect to our community in a stronger way and ensure that we are engaged in our community, which is very important to us, especially due to the isolating few years we've had due to COVID-19. And if allowed, the football team would love to pass out candy and balloons to the parade attendees in the crowd. I also have a few documents that you can look over that have bullet points of what I've mentioned. Thank you.
So it's going to be the same road, but it'll be Thursday night
Thursday.
instead of Tuesday night, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, I see now, okay.
Okay.
And on the following pages, there's 2 options for the routes.
Did you say the alternative date would be the 28th?
No, the 20th.
20th, Thursday the 20th?
Yes, sir.
Thursday to what?
October 20th.
Yeah, so Thursday helps with the commission meeting date and blocking access to City Hall, so that's a big change.
Yeah,
Is there another board meeting?
we could just have a consensus on it.
Is there another board meeting on Thursday?
There's currently no advisory board meetings for Thursday night.
Which option are you looking at? I see two options.
Thursday,
here.
October the
Did you
20th.
say which option are you
Uh,
interested in more than the other?
Well, both, one option is obviously a longer route compared to the other. I've received many opinions on which one. One also goes through more like businesses, which that would be nice because we could include the small businesses in some way. Like they could maybe like stop for a donut before they attend the parade. Or the other route is a bit longer. So we're not like leaning towards the other more than other.
Are we going to notify the residents right in there for that time? Because there's quite a few houses in there. Mike, we sending something out to the residents? Because there are quite a few houses in there.
Generally, with our special event permits, we do not have a process to send information out like that to individual homes. I think on the crossing guard Christmas party, that was a condition that she reach out to them, but this would be, depending on the route, something you could request. But we don't have that as a part of our special event process. We do not facilitate that.
Will we
As
put
staff.
notices out just to let them know? I mean, I'm not opposed to the parade, trust me. I'm just looking at, because when you're going down,
We go,
there's probably about 15, 20 houses
Yeah.
on the street, yeah.
So the one I'm showing is the one that was initially in your packet that they submitted with the permit. And so I guess you have another option.
Yes, I passed it. I have this one here as well.
Okay.
It's pretty much late from the park, Lake Shore, down to McKee. Coming up McKee, there's probably about 6 houses. And then as you go down Floral, there's a few. I'm sure they'll be very receptive. It's just letting them know.
Yes, ma'am.
We probably can put
The
some sign.
administrator from OCPS, Garrett, is shaking his head that he can accommodate that.
We just want, again, if we put notices out, letting them know. It's kind to the people coming home.
They don't want to get home. They can't
Typically,
get home.
how do
Can't get
we-
home.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
Commissioner.
go ahead.
How do we notify residents during Christmas when we have the Santa, when we collect toys for Christmas? How do we notify the residents that we're coming to? I know I see signs that we put parade is coming, and I know that there's something on the website that we put out there to let folks know. Of course, we've been doing it for a long time.
Yes.
But this is something that I was never done.
Yes.
So how could we notify the residents that this is going to happen? Or it's possibly going to happen?
I have a discretionary fund. We can always arrange to send them all postcards from my
I think
discretionary fund.
the chief might be able to chime in. I think the chief, the police department had the signs in the past that said
You
parade
just put
route or
the
something
signs
on it, so,
We can put some signs up.
yeah, we'll do something like
I
that.
hear I have a fund, I can make a few signs.
you can take this same map and put it on a poster and put it out on the signs.
Okay.
Do we know which one we're going to get a
That's
consensus on?
Is the preferred the one on the left?
Number one,
Number one or number?
Yeah, whichever works best for the city. We just really want to have the parade.
Number one is impacting probably less.
Less.
Yeah.
and it's-
Less homes.
And it's more on the main
Okay.
roads. Yeah.
well, as long as it's downtown.
Yeah, and you're
Yes.
moving along, so
Yes.
it's not like you're sitting in front of their homes for
Right, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
a long time.
All right, consensus number one?
One, yes.
Okay.
Yes, number
All right.
one.
That's
Yes.
fine.
And we'll see if we can get some signs stuck on the areas where it's gonna be. That's less houses and businesses there.
Yeah.
Really, more it is. Okay, that it, Mike?
That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Are we invited?
And that was all I had this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay,
Well, I do have one thing, since we do have the high school here, there's one thing, I was at the game last Friday, and we were talking about showing some support to the school, which we do all the time. One of the team mom, football team moms, want to know if it's possible we can do I guess a photo op with wearing one of the high school football jerseys at our next meeting, just taking a picture in their jerseys to post on their website. So I wonder if we can possibly consider doing that for the school.
If they bring one to fit me, that's great. Just,
If that's something we could do,
consent.
out,
I'm fine with it.
Yes
Get
with me.
consent.
Yep, said, everybody said yes.
Yeah, all right. So I'll get with the team moms, and we'll make it happen. Thank you. Good job.
Do that when we get to that. Not all the way down to it, but before.
Okay.
All right, so, no, I got two. Well, one of them's on item number 7, so it has to wait. Jim, Mr. Moyer?
Yes, sir. As the city recognized, I believe it was last meeting, this is Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th. My name's Jim Moyer. I live in Arden Park. I'm mostly of German heritage. I was raised German American. The so-called classifications, white census classification, honestly, I've never frankly understood that or saw myself that way, even though my family has been here approximately 380 years from what's now Germany. I'm of the Saxon tribe, and our family came over as part of what's called the Schwenkfelder Church. And I bring that up because I want to acknowledge that in addition to Community Planning Month, this is German American Heritage Month, which is the largest so-called white census classification. It's also Italian American Month, the 4th largest of the so-called white classification. It's also Polish American Month, which is the 6th largest of the so-called white classification. In addition, this is Filipino American Month, which is the 3rd largest Asian subgroup classification. So I'm bringing that up because I like to encourage people to learn about their tribe, their culture, their history, and to focus on the similarities that we all have, not the differences. So please consider researching your own culture and history and tribe and others as well. And thank you for the time, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. All right, the other one is, the number 7 is what they want to talk about, and that'll be on the agenda when we get to that. We'll bring up the gentleman for that. All right, we're down to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Brinson. Any more discussion? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, we're on the first reading of ordinances. All right, first reading of ordinance, this will be, come back on October the 18th for discussions. Tonight, there will be no discussion. It comes back on the 18th of October. All right, first reading of ordinance for Ocoee Landings mixed-use building, substantial amendment to the planned unit development land use plan. Development Service Director, and you gonna read it?
Yep, I'll read it. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, approving a substantial amendment to the land use plan for Ocoee Landings PUD land use plan for certain real property comprising approximately 6.84 acres located north of East Silver Star Road and south of the Ohio Bay subdivision pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, amending the Ocoee Landing PUD, LUP, and preliminary subdivision plan to allow a mixed-use building on Lot 4 of the PUD, finding consistency with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right. Is anybody here tonight for that issue? For the project we're talking about? Okay, that will be back in 2 weeks. Then it'll be open for public comments. October the 18th. All righty? All right, thank you. All right, item number 4, first reading of ordinance for Rodriguez Torres property, 285 11th Avenue, annexation and rezoning.
All right, the first is the Annexation Ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .26 acres located in the northwest corner of the 11th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement. Providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R2 Residential District to City of Ocoee R1 Single Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately .26 acres located in the northwest corner of the 11th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, same thing with this. This one will be back on October the 18th for the first reading of annex, it'll be the second reading of annexation order and the second reading for rezoning. Item number 5, first reading of ordinance, Persuade, Rama Constructions, property 175 Clark Road, annexation and rezoning.
This is the Annexation Ordinance, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .40 acres located on the east side of South Clark Road, approximately 1,775 feet north of White Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement. Providing for and authorizing the update of the official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to City of Ocoee R1A Single Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately .4 acres located on the east side of South Clark Road, approximately 1,775 feet north of White Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
All right, same thing. This item 5 will be coming back on October the 18th for the reading of the annexation and the reading of the rezoning. All right, this time I'm going to take a couple minutes for public announcements by our Public Works Department. We're going to have him discuss the storm this past week and give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor. Steve Krug, Public Works Director. Mayor, Commissioners, I just want to give you an update on the aftermath of Hurricane Ian and what we're doing to deal with it. Last week, we were in contact with our debris management contractors, and yesterday we activated 2 contracts that we've had in place for several years in case something like this happened. We have a debris monitoring contract with Thompson Consultant Services, who will manage everything as a rep for us and make sure that everything is filed in accordance with FEMA requirements for us to get reimbursement. We also activated Crowder Gulf Joint Venture, which will be the debris removal contractor. And they are mobilizing as we speak. They'll be on site Monday and start collecting debris next week. On the positive side, compared to Irma, this is a much less damaged hurricane. So far, where last hurricane we had about 40,000 cubic yards of material to remove. So far, we're seeing 5,000 to 10,000. We're giving people a chance to get things out to the curb. I'm encouraging residents, if they have any vegetative debris, to put it out at the curb. If they have building materials, put it out at the curb in separate piles, please. And they're looking at activating about 3 to 4 trucks. They feel at this point they can do one sweep and catch everything, and then have a truck on site for additional stuff that comes up over the next month and a half. We also have our, what would be called a debris disaster debris management site, which is on the old Rogers property. We activated that with DEP, and imagine this, we found out there's an additional requirement to verify that there's no historical impact. So we have filed for that today, and we'll have that in a couple days and be able to utilize the site. We are also, as the gated communities, to set up for reimbursement there, the health department needs to declare a health hazard because of the debris piles. And we're in contact with the health department setting that up because FEMA will not reimburse without having the health department determination on private roads. So we're moving forward with that, but we're looking at next week definitely being able to hit the public roads. It may be a week or two to get the gated communities. And that's where we're at.
All right.
Any questions?
I want to say, I know they've already got a big tree off a house in one of the neighborhoods. I see them over. Our staff went around and did certifications for homes that had some damage to them, right?
The building department went around and reviewed everything, yes.
Okay,
But everyone's been very proactive and hopping on it as quick as possible,
all right.
so.
I'd like to
And we-
thank all the staff that
Yeah.
worked over the weekend and worked through this, because, again, giving up your own time, trying to solve problems for your own family, and then coming in and doing this. So I think we really have, the staff was wonderful, and kudos to them. Thank you. To
I'll
all the
relay that.
departments, thank you.
I will relay that. Thank you.
I'd certainly like to echo that as well. Steve, I know I talked to you several times throughout the hurricane. You picked up on the first ring every time, so kudos to you guys. Did a wonderful job assessing the damage. I know we have some residents that was here that's in a gated community, so I hope you heard that. It'll be a week or two before we can get to those gated communities, so I think that was a wonderful job you guys did. So definitely want to echo Commissioner Wilson's sentiments.
Thank you.
I would say that, as usual, you guys do a great job of that. Just like the last storm, we had a lot more, but you guys took care of that, so we appreciate it, and I know the citizens will too. So thanks again. Tell your staff that too. I know all the staff of the city was working. I know the police, fire, and all our employees, so we thank you. Citizens, thank you too. So appreciate it. Thank you.
If I may, is there a phone call that's set up dedicated for this?
Right now, if you just call the Public Works Department at 407-905-3170, we're fielding calls for additional items. And if anyone has any questions about what qualifies, where should I put something, we're letting them know what to do with it all.
Okay, because I'm getting a lot of calls and questions regarding trees that are in the right-of-way that fell onto private property and vice versa. So I just make sure they,
Yeah, if they would relay those to us, and then we can come and address them, that would be great.
okay.
All right.
And that's part of what our contractor will be doing also.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Our Public Works Director. All right. Second reading of ordinance, public hearings. Item number 6, second reading of ordinance for Covington Oaks, rezoning from A1 General Agriculture to R1A Single Family Dwelling. Zoning Manager Whitfield.
Yeah, Mayor, I'm going to be covering these
Okay.
next two items. The property is located on 80 Mims on the north side, west of Apopka Vineland and east of Clark. This is a property that I've been working with the current property owner for a number of years, and he annexed the property, just simply annexed it in about a year and a half ago, and is looking for somebody to be able to develop this property. The property has a single-family home on it. It is zoned A1. We just kept the Orange County zoning on it. When we annexed it at the time, there wasn't any plans. We didn't want to just give it a zoning, and I'll explain that. And the future land use designation is 4 dwelling units an acre, a low-density residential. And the property is located in an area where we do not have central sewer. And because of that, you're unable, under today's guidelines, to develop as the subdivisions on either side, as you can see. Those are on water and septic, but under the newer rules for septic, you have to be on a minimum of 1/4 acre. Sewer, the closest sewer is available on Johio Road around the corner to the west and down the road a good distance, and the depth of the manholes are not the best, and it's a really long run, and the utility department does not have plans to serve sewer going east on AD Mims. So what the property owner was able to find is someone willing to develop under a 1/4 acre lot size. So by Florida law, if you're on potable water and septic, you have to have a minimum of 1/4 acre. And this is just a concept of what they're looking for with the zoning designation and getting a 1/4 acre size lot. You don't achieve as much as you do in the old days. And there's also, this is in the Wekiva study area, so there's an extra open space criteria on top of that. We're simply today just rezoning the property to, which falls in line with the land use designation. The next step will be the subdivision process, because they should achieve easily more than the 12 lots in our code. You will see this subdivision again under the subdivision process. So this is strictly a straight zoning from A1 to the R1A, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody in the public want to make any comments on item 6, covered in Oaks? All righty, I'll close it and bring it back to the dais. Anybody up here have any comments? If not, I need a motion.
I don't believe this is in District 2.
What?
It says it's in District 2.
Was that the old map, maybe? Did I mess up?
That might be
District 4.
That District
I was going to say,
okay.
that just to clarify that,
You didn't read it? No. I'll do it.
yeah, it's over off AD Mims and Jahio Shores, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Shouldn't move through this.
That's important to know.
just clarifying.
So this would, as far as the plan is concerned, this is going to stay on the septic tank for a while.
Yes, this would be, yes. There's some vacant land you've got to the east, but there's not a big generator of future customers, and this would not be a priority location for utilities to run future facilities, yes.
How about reclaim?
Commissioner, I'm not aware, I don't know the
No
reclaim. Yeah, that-
either, right?
There's problems with
There's no reclaim out there, correct.
Okay. Who would control the utility? That'd be Duke Energy
For power,
for power?
Yes.
And Orange County for water?
this is city water.
City water.
City water.
City
Okay.
water customer, yes.
All right. Anybody else? Not, I'm going to let him read the titles.
All right, this is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from general agricultural A1 to single-family dwelling district R1A on certain real property containing approximately 9.94 acres located on the north side of 80 Mims Road, approximately 1,637.5 feet west of North Apopka Vineland Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right, back to this, no more discussion, I need a motion. For item 6.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Brinson, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. All right, no more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, item number 7. Second reading of ordinance for Ocoee Oaks joint venture, rezoning from A1 general agriculture to R1A single-family dwelling. Mr. Ruger.
Yeah, this is, parcel is located on the north side of White Road, just east of Clark Road. This is sort of the southern end of the Ocoee Oaks United Methodist Church. And they are looking to sell off a vacant 5.7 acre parcel that is unused. And the parcel, as you can see, is wooded. It has a current zoning of A1 agriculture and the future land use designation of low-density residential, which affords up to 4 dwelling units an acre. The proposal is to rezone the property from A1 to R1A, which has the similar lot size of the subdivision on the east side for a future residential development. This is a concept plan that's shown, just kind of showing the lots meeting the lot size, what they think they could achieve, around 18 lots, and there still have open space and stormwater. This is not approving this subdivision plan, it's simply rezoning it to R1A with an opportunity then to come back and develop the site. You would see this under subdivision plan, and the lot size would be, match the existing zoning district and the zoning lot sizes on the east side. This is just this zoning complies with the low-density residential land use, and again, you will see the subdivision plan in the preliminary and then final in the future.
All right,
That's
can you read it?
Yeah. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from General Agricultural District A1 to Single-Family Dwelling District R1A on certain real property containing approximately 5.71 acres located in the northeast corner of the South Clark Road and White Road intersection pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Anybody in the audience have any comments on second reading of ordinance for Ocoee Oaks joint venture? All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Dave Schmidt Engineering, 12301 Lake Underhill Road, Orlando 32828. We are here to answer any questions, and we agree with staff's recommendation of support. And again, to answer any questions that you or the public may have. Thank you.
All right, anybody have any questions? Could you please fill out a form when you get through? Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
I'd like to hear the residents. Is there any residents that are coming up?
That's not,
Yeah.
this is the one we're putting off to,
No, number 8 we're putting off.
8 we're putting off.
We're on number 7.
Number 7.
Is there anybody, and you,
That's why I opened public.
yeah.
That one wasn't for 7.
Where's it at? We got Mr. Doug Gomer. There you go.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to thank Mr. Whitfield for helping me before this meeting, talk to me a little bit about how this whole process works. We were here at the original meeting and voiced some concerns. And I'd like to just say this. I understand that this is just the zoning change, doesn't approve anything. We understand that. I represent the homeowners in Whitehill. I'm the homeowner president for Whitehill, which is the subdivision most impacted by this development. We're directly east of these folks. And also, Carlos, thank you for trying to reach out. I'm sorry we couldn't connect. We had a little phone issue. I want to say we're not here to kill this whole project, and we put all of our faith in the Ocoee City to do all the things that they got to do. But I have to voice my one big objection here, and we're going to do this until time ends, and that's a traffic issue. The way that this property wraps, there's going to be an access road that's only going to come out on White Road, which is very near the intersection of White and Clark, which is already bogged up in the mornings and the afternoons with school traffic, school buses, people coming back and forth. If this property goes through, as this subdivision goes through the way it's the way it's driven now, people would come from the West Oak side trying to get into this new subdivision will come in and do a U-turn in the areas that we have access to White Road, making that even more of a dangerous intersection than it already is. Our only concern, guys, is the traffic. We can live with most of the other things, and again, we trust you guys to tell us if this is a viable project or not. But I want to make sure we go on the record, and this is unanimous in my neighborhood, that we are against the access road to White Road. And I would like to see this thing be modified somehow where they could get some kind of access out to Clark Road, whether it be through an access from the church, access to where the possible cell tower is going to go, somewhere up there that can get these people to funnel out onto a bigger road away from the intersection and away from my subdivision and the subdivision across the street from me also, which will be impacted the same way because this is going to be a real traffic mess. So I just wanted to make sure I'm on the record for this, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thanks, sir. Do you have any comments?
I do. I mean, I agree, that it's a tough space right there. It's tough just as in an afternoon, cars coming down there, it funnels into where we have the median. And that will create more of a bottleneck right there, and they will be coming into, we all know, the least resistance is to pull into White Hill and make a circle and come back out. And that's the concern I would have. I realize it's property that probably is gonna end up going residential because of the, its proximity to the next to the east side. But traffic is probably my main concern. I mean, I know you're gonna address a lot of other issues regarding your retention and things of that nature, but
Yeah, there will be a
That's an
traffic
issue.
study that looks at the trip generation from the amount of lots that they are, when they do the engineering, able to achieve. Looks like a maximum of 18, could fall anywhere between 16 and 18. And the traffic study will also not only look at the intersections into this outside of the subdivision, but also look at the access points specifically for this location. And until we have that information and they supply the traffic study based off of our methodology and review it, it's tough to say. We did not intend to have this property never develop. It has a low-density residential land use. It wasn't institutional or something else. And so there is the right to have a zoning that falls under the land use, but the development has a lot of different criteria. And the good thing is we will be able to present that to you and present the findings of that.
because I know out on Silver Star Road, the neighborhood that just west of Ohio Shores, I mean, I pull in there all the time and make a turn. And that's not, it's a right in, right out on Silver Star Road, but coming, like if you miss the turn, you go in and make a turn. And that's something, I think we're gonna see in White Hills, the same situation. I do this at that subdivision periodically, getting back to the grocery store. But that's, again, we're going from a 4-lane road there to White Road, which is 2-lane.
Yes.
That's, again, that, I realize that, but I guess I want to go on the record too, because that's a great concern to me. Not aside from going residential, it's the traffic.
Right. And how that works is when they do their transportation analysis, is at 18 lots, it may say it will not work. It may work at 8 lots. At such time, they'll have to make a decision. Is it still worth coming through or finding another access point?
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
There's a water tower right there. Is that the city's property?
Yeah.
Nope.
Whose property?
It's county's property, and we've made many attempts to obtain that water tower, and the water tower will be coming down fairly soon, and it's owned by Orange County.
Are we gonna annex it?
They have to petition. It has to be voluntary, or we have to spend a lot of money to annex it to get no taxes.
And obviously, the reason I ask is because, I see it, how the property is laid out, but the water tower property is right there. And as Commissioner Wilson said, I used to live in that community across the street,
Yeah, you did.
right there off of Newman Village. And so I understand exactly what the gentleman is saying, because oftentimes I could see my entrance, just couldn't get to it. So I want to be on the record as well as saying that property it is what it is, the location of it. But as we all are, I think are big proponents of infrastructure improvements, and that's going to require quite a bit of it to, maybe even put an extra lane there. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the record as well. Because I know I have some friends who still live over there, and they would probably beat me up if they.
This part of White Road, I believe we control because we did put that median in the area. So we're not having to kick the can to the county and wait to hear this. So we do have full control of this.
I have a question.
Anybody else?
You mentioned that the tower's going away. Has the county submitted any proposals as to what it may be once the tower goes away? What they're going to use it for, that land?
That property is not within the city's limits, and so we do not have any idea of what the proposed uses. I am aware that the tower's coming down because the cell tower lease on top of it is not going to be continued by the county. They're not going to have a lease. At least that's what the cell tower company is saying. And they're looking for another site in the area. And they've identified a location on the church property nearby. And we are working with them on, there's a process they have to go through public hearings with us for any cell tower. It will be, when this cell tower goes away, it will be a cell coverage issue. And as much as we don't want that for our residents, there is a process. And I did ask that this subdivision rezone come before us first, before we start acting on a cell tower, because I want you to know that there are going to be future lots, potentially, of some size, some number, closer to the church than what currently is. And I expect we'll follow up with this cell tower. It's a special exception here in the near future.
So according to your statement, they can put as many as 18 homes? On
They
that
showed meeting the lot size. We don't review it. I don't know the setbacks and the stormwater, how they're going to hold all that, but it looks like they're hoping to achieve up to 18 lots, meeting the zoning criteria.
Again, I do share the same concerns because White Road is a 2-lane road, Clark Road is a 4-lane road, and eventually, just looking at this and just kind of thinking down the road, I'm looking at just adjacent to that on at White and Clark, that field, those other areas there may end up being developed. And now we're talking about a really, really big mess if we don't start looking at the infrastructure at that particular, at that corner, just White Road itself. Even widening White Road, that may be something to consider. But other than that, when you start looking at developing areas like this particular lot, and the ones across that's actually west on Clark Road, you're talking about some major traffic impacts. And if we're not prepared for that, then we're stuck at a standstill. It's like a stalemate until we can get some infrastructure in there.
Yes, and look at it one way. Right now, there's existing land uses on these properties. They all have low-density residential land uses. The one on the southwest corner has some low and some commercial. If they were before us asking to increase from low density to medium density, at this hearing, we would be talking about traffic studies. But since they are maintaining the adopted land use, our comprehensive plan already considers these units in our future population estimate of 65,000 residents. So in a way, it's not new development, it's not new trips, it's not new residents, it's just filling in what we already know, but it is an impact physically on the location of the development and the number of units, which we do evaluate.
Okay.
Well, what I would ask you is how you gonna solve that?
We got to have engineered plans and a study, but under straight zoning, under the land use, it is not required. The next step under the preliminary subdivision plan, that's when they
I
will
know
submit.
that, but if we
and
vote
we'll-
for it, that's.
Well, they're
You can
afforded
put
an
it on record,
opportunity.
we don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd like to know what your thought process is about how we're gonna solve it.
Well, looking just real quick, you see the full access points to the east. That's probably a minimum of 660 feet. This location's about half of that, which is appropriate for a right-in, right-out.
How far is it from the one across the street? Because that's the same distance, right?
They're
all backed up now. They're backed up down that road. You go over there in the afternoon, it's backed up.
Yes, but I would surmise that Orange County traffic shouldn't dictate City of Ocoee future growth.
What-
And if we're going to develop a good subdivision under our criteria, we got to give it the opportunity to be evaluated.
Well, that leaves it open for me to make a comment. It might not be to say that, but that's exactly what happens. We're gonna be the one getting the complaints. It ain't gonna be Orange County, it's gonna be us. You know, it's gonna come to us. I was sitting at that same intersection one day this week. Some guy, he drives around 6 cars to go around there, get to Clark Road and go that way. He drove around 6 cars. So it's gonna be worse. I'm just saying, we can vote to make sure we change the zoning, but when it comes time, we gotta do something with that intersection. Or we're gonna be the one footing the gripes and the complaints. So, I know it's there, but it's still in a particular wrong place, I think, but I don't mind doing it, but it's just some way or another, you need to tell me we're gonna be able to fix that.
Well, it's White Road in
Turn lane?
Orlando.
Is it a turn lane?
A left turn lane in is an option, yes. And whether there's the right-of-way and the constructability,
Coming
Yes.
from the east also to get out of the traffic pattern, to turn into that project.
a little right turn
Yeah.
decel lane, that is an option,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
A left turn lane, but we, again, I have no problem, I mean, I don't think
Okay.
our residents are having a problem with the rezoning. It's the issues that will come from.
Right.
They'll come from, I shouldn't say, they come from the rezoning, let me say this.
Well-
But again, it's the issues that will come from added homes in there. And
Yes, and the one aspect we look at is, these roads are collector roads. So they have a higher trip count, they're developed, they're expected to be higher than a local road. If this new subdivision was dumping out on a local road, that's an issue. But it's not, it's dumping out on a collector road, which is one level down than an arterial.
You have another comment, sir?
I was just going to add, we'll work with Mike and Public Works on solving the access issue, whether it's a left turn lane, a right turn lane, and access through the church. We'll come up with a solution that works for the city to support this down the road.
Okay, all right. Did you get that on record?
Yeah,
and I hope, it is in District 2, I'd
just
really
have
like to
one last
involve the
question.
residents when we get to that point, have a meeting so we can go ahead and
All right,
have them,
just,
I like to have them have a little stake in the plan, understand what's going on.
all right.
So we'll be happy to get, sorry.
just one last question.
We'll be happy to
Mayor.
get that. When we get to that point, I'd like to involve the residents in the area so that
Yeah.
they can have
Yeah.
little information and tell you what their concerns are.
Go ahead, Commissioner Oliver.
Just based on Mr. Smith's comments, and I was looking at this map here, it looks like this is butt up against the church's additional properties. And wondering if the church would be willing to make some concessions to allow another egress to Clark Road from that back part of the lot, if that may be something to consider when you're making different proposals. That could definitely give you two ways in and out. You may have the Clark Road access as well as the White Road access.
Yeah, our client, we can discuss that with the church and see the church is working with us to, our drainage will be handled all on site, well, within the church property, basically expanding their existing dry pond. So they're working with the church already on that.
All right. Okay, I need a motion.
Can I make the motion with the caveat that we do look at the traffic issue? But I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for item 7, Oakley Oaks joint venture, with the caveat, the driving lanes or whatever. So here's second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Firstner.
I have a question.
All right, any more comments?
What's the caveat again?
That we need to address the traffic issue.
So
traffic-
just addressing it.
A
So
traffic
that's
study,
part of it anyway.
a traffic study is
Okay.
required as part of the preliminary
Rezoning, but it's
subdivision
just-
plan, yes.
We
but
always want to
I'll
make a
assure
point
you,
that we do
yes.
want to address that traffic issue.
All right, motion been made and seconded. No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Be back. I got public hearing, no comment sheets, so we'll go to the comments from commissioners.
Item 8, we need to,
We're, item 8, we got to have a motion to pull item 8, I'm sorry.
I'll make that motion to.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, here's a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Bresson, pull item 8. No more comments, let's vote.
Oh. I commend you for staying.
All right, carries unanimously. All right, no more comment. Commissioner Brinson.
Good evening, all. I don't have many comments, but the comments I do have was going to be surrounded around Hurricane Ian. We are still feeling the effects of Hurricane Ian. One of the things I would like to say, not only to thank you to the staff, but also thank you to the neighbors. One of the things I've done from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was out in the community helping people clean up and get their yard debris all squared away. And what was pleasing to me is neighbors helping neighbors. So I thank you very much for that. That means a lot because there's a lot of neighbors out there who are elderly or don't have the physical strength and abilities to get out there and do it. What I saw was people coming together, making things happen. So that was very, very pleasing. And I would just like to say, the last thing I have to say is there's 3 things we need going forward in the next few weeks. That's patience, time, and patience. We're gonna need that. If your yard debris is not picked up and if the folks haven't come down your street, please be patient. We just need to take time to get there. And then please exercise some more patience because there are gonna be people that put out their yard waste too late or whatever. Patience, time, and patience. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Wilson.
I don't think I can say much more than patience, 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 but I think if we just listen to what Mr. Krug told us, that it will get picked up, it just needs some time, and, you know, we're in a better spot. When we look at TV and look at the areas in Sanibel and that area on the west coast, they got hit really hard. It could have been us, because as we watched the maps, those spaghettis going all over, we didn't know where we were gonna be. And so we really are, I'm very happy that the position we're in, but please, be patient. Mr. Krug mentioned if there's things, you know, calling Public Works, asking them, I know calling us, I fielded a lot of questions regarding this, and what I've told everyone is to please be patient, and we're dealing with FEMA and the pickup. So it takes time. It's only been, what, 2 or 3 days since we probably brought our stuff out to the road, and it will get picked up. Just time. So, thank you. Oh, less than a minute. Let's go.
Commissioner First.
I'm so happy that we were able to dodge the bullet here in the city, unlike our brothers and sisters down on the southwest coast who took it full on. They're all in our thoughts and prayers down there. Well, I just wanted to share something. I was in the fire department and the fire service for 35 years, and a good portion of that I spent in emergency management operations. On Wednesday, this past Wednesday, after the Emergency Operations Center activated, I stopped in to see how everything was going. I was privileged to be able to set that EOC up in the fire station back in 2005 or so through grants from the state, and we did the best we could with the technology that was out there at the time. But I tell you what, I was utterly impressed when I walked in there just this last week. The folks throughout the city, it's not just the fire department, but the police and fire and public works, they were all at their stations, manning their posts, doing their job. They're all very well educated in the field of emergency management. They know what they're doing. But I was so impressed with the upgrades and the enhancements that they have put into the Emergency Operations Center. They've really refined the process, and they definitely, throughout the storm, have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in this city. And not just through phone calls anymore. They have cameras through the police department all over the city. They're arranging to get private cable hookups to private individuals and their television, their cameras, and it was really impressive. But I was happy with what I saw, and I was impressed too. So I just wanted to express my gratitude and my appreciation to all the city staff that participates in the emergency management effort, from the city manager, his office, all the way down through the staff, and the ones that you don't see being interviewed on TV or whatever, the public works people that are holed up in their office and everything in their compound waiting to respond to these, calls for help. So I was very proud, and I can assure the public in this city that they are in very good hands. And when there's an emergency like that, they know that they can count on the staff of the city of Ocoee to do whatever that needs to be done to make sure that they get through it all right. Thank you.
Commissioner Oliver.
don't think I can say anything more about Hurricane Ian and our response to it that has not already been said. We've just done an awesome job in managing the challenges that it brought to us. And I'm sure that the county and the other counties around us are operating just the same to get things back to what we would call normal. So with that being said, I'm not going to comment anymore about the hurricane and our preparedness. But I will also comment about voting. We just went through redistricting, and there's still a lot of folks out there that just they're not sure as to where they go to for voting because of redistricting. We've been voting in the same place for the past 10, 20 years, and now we have some different locations. So what I would say to you, for one, absentee ballots is actually good. If you have a problem getting out to the polls, you utilize the absentee ballots, and that is a luxury that we have in this day and age. But if you're one of those diehard voters that want to get out and actually cast a ballot and put it in the machine, and you're not sure as to where to go, please go to the Supervisor of Elections website. That is www.ocfelectlln, that's ocfeelections.com, and you can actually click on early voting, and you get all the information on the early voting as well. The primaries are coming up on Tuesday, November 8th, and the last day to register to vote. So if you have someone that's turning 18 that wants to get out and vote, the last day to register to vote is going to be October 11th. So that's coming up really quick. So if you're interested in voting and you have not registered, you have until October 11th to register. Also, you can contact the Supervisor of Elections office at area code 407-836-2070. That's 407-836-2070 for more information about where you go to vote and also registering to vote. Also, I need to one of the issues we've been having on the north side of the city is we have large commercial trucks that's parking on McCormick Road. I've been reaching out to the code enforcement, Director of Code Enforcement for Orange County, and they have a website. You fill out a form and tell them what the concerns are. I want to know if there's any way that we as staff can reach out to their director directly to send a letter to them about enforcing their code for those large commercial vehicles. It started off being about one vehicle, and then it was two vehicles. Now it's like a convoy of vehicles that parks there every single night. So, and it's making it harder to, as you go over the hills on McCormick, to see over those hills because there's trucks on both sides and they're parking there. So I would love to know if we can possibly get a letter out to Orange County to ask them to start enforcing their parking restrictions for large commercial vehicles.
Are they 18-wheelers?
They're 18-wheelers,
Oh,
yes.
they moved from my district over to your district, I guess.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's like a convoy.
I'm agreeable to that.
I gotta move to your area.
Okay, so I'm agreeable. I don't know about anybody else, but.
And that's something we can do. Would that come from your office, Rob?
It'd probably have more impact if we had the commission sign off on it instead of in staff.
Well, if we can get.
We
the letter,
could
we'll sign off.
draft up the letter for you, maybe
Draft
have
up
the
a
mayor's
letter and then
signature.
we'll-
Sure.
Yeah, if we get the mayor to
But
sign off.
I think it
on
would have
we
much
can-
more of an impact with the mayor's signature or the commission signing off on it.
Awesome. And it's getting worse
It's gotta
every
be
day.
posted by the county.
I think they got CBs and they're telling everyone where to go at night. So they're kind of congregating on one street, so hopefully we can get that
Parking at the
resolved.
mall, too.
Also, I've received a couple of phone calls regarding Prairie Lake Park. Those happened in the past couple of days. They're forgetting to close it at dawn, and those folks still driving up in there. So if we can probably get them to take a look at that, about making sure that the park gets closed at the time it should be closed, that would be wonderful, especially for the residents that live right across the street from the park. Also, Ocoee Members event is actually coming up. We have several events coming up, starting on Friday, November 4th. I'll be hosting a mix and mingle at Bar 5 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday the 4th. You get a chance to meet some of the descendants and some of the folks that have actually worked with this remembrance, as well as some historians that have information about the Ocoee Massacre and talk about how we've actually come a lot further than most have expected us, but we've come quite a long ways since then. On Saturday, there's going to be, November 5th, there's going to be a July Perry Memorial Highway honor ride that'll be ridden by several bike organizations, and there will be actually riding down the highway, or there is a July Perry Memorial Highway marker from Ocoee that goes over to Oakland. They're going to be riding that all the way into Bill Breeze Park. That event starts at 11 a.m. And then there's at 12 o'clock, there's going to be a Unity Festival for a family Unity Festival right here at Bill Breeze Park from noon to 5 p.m. And there also, later that evening on Saturday at 7 p.m., there's going to be a Descendants Memorial Dinner. That's actually for the descendants, so it's not for the public. But we'll have descendants there. We'll have a dinner for those guys. Then on Sunday, I know that High Point Church is actually holding a worship service. I think it's at the 11 a.m. at High Point Church. And then also there's going to be a gospel brunch sponsored by Commissioner Brinson at West Oaks Mall, Bar 5 West Oaks Mall at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. And then finally the finale going to be Sunday, held by our own High Point Church at 7 p.m. at the Lakeshore Center. This is a day of remembrance, and we'll close the program out. There's a flyer that will be posted on the city's website. It should be already active, and you have flyers that will be posted around the city as well, some of the businesses. So please come out and enjoy the festivities for that particular weekend. And finally, Mr. Moyer, I really enjoyed your comments at the beginning of the meeting. I know we hadn't spoken, but your comments kind of lined up with what I was going to say tonight. So I'll go ahead and read what I was going to say to see exactly how they lined up. When I think of One Ocoee, it reminds me of a phrase, e pluribus unum, which is Latin for out of many, one. We are many faces, colors, and cultures that have come together as one community. We are a unified community working towards a common goal to be better. One Ocoee is a community of people from all walks of life that has come together to set an example for all to see what can be accomplished when we set aside our differences and work together to create a strong, vibrant community. We are One Ocoee. So with that, I will yield back to the mayor.
Appreciate it. The, Rob, on the lakes, can we make sure, keep an eye on the lake control for the overflowing and some of the retention ponds that are in those
Yeah, we're doing that daily, Mayor.
neighborhoods? Also, to make sure the lights are all working out after the storm. I know we're going to pick up the trash and the trees and stuff, but we need to make sure all the lights are working on that in the neighborhoods around where it won't be, and the sidewalks are not tore up. We have some sidewalks tore up, but we're beginning to work on those. The storm management thing was a great thing. I remember we met last week a couple of times, and Rob and staff has really, in the fire department and the police department, have really set about to put that in order to make sure we're in an operation where it works during the storm, which I think, you guys all spent the night down at the police firehouse, didn't you? Yeah, so we appreciate that. I know I think it was Thursday. I lost track. Maybe Wednesday. When were we giving out those bags, sandbags?
Tuesday
Wednesday.
and up till a certain point on Wednesday.
I went down to check on it, ended up shoveling dirt for 3 hours, which is not good for an older feller. But it was a pleasure watching citizens come down there. There was ladies, some of them were 80 in their 80s, working with a shovel, filling sandbags. And we had our staff there, and they were prepared. We had it lined up with drive lanes and everything where people could get in and get their sandbags. So it worked great, and it was a great thing to see that the citizens taking advantage of that. A lot of people called afterwards, and that's something we got to look at, maybe have a reserve unit somewhere we can go get them at the end, even a few days later. I know I had some people call me, and I told them we didn't have it when we run out. So, but there was a lot of people went there for that day and that next day, so it was great. I think we need to, we've talked about the speed bumps, but I think the problem is, just like we talk about traffic issues, the speed bumps in areas where we need them at, we got to really get onto that, because it's just turned into people are driving like crazy. I know, we've got to really put the power down. I mean, I hate to say get tickets, but it's something that's going to have, something's going to have to be done. Just like the guy running around I think it was more like 8 cars. I couldn't believe it. On White Road, he just went up Clark Road and whooped right in front of them people and went down the road. But some things like that we got to watch for. But I will say that, and Commissioner Firstner's right. The fire department over the last few years has really stepped up with their ability to do the things we do. They're one of the top-rated fire departments, as the police department is, which is something you don't see at all the different cities. There's a rating that goes with these people, and that we have the top ratings in our fire department and police department. So also the sewer and water department is a big part of the storm thing, that they kept it up. They had a few problems, but they worked on it and got them solved. So let's let the citizens know that the city's on board to keep an eye on everything that they're doing with helping our citizens move in the right direction to keep them safe. So October the 18th will be the next meeting. We need to make sure the Christmas light stuff is set up.
Yeah, we've been doing that since May, Mayor.
All right.
So
I'm just
I can
telling
tell you that
I say
I'm
this
fairly
every year.
sure most of them are going to work
Not
this
gonna
year.
be a good Santa Claus if we don't have them lights working. So yeah, that's, and the high school, Ocoee High School's got a good football team, so we appreciate that. Did we play West Orange yet?
No, it got moved to Halloween Day.
That's what I thought. That'll be a good one to be at. Yeah. So go Knights. And West Orange is one of our schools too, so we gotta split it around there. Maybe.
But they're not here right now.
No, they're not here. They're not here. But once again, we want to thank you, and I hope everybody's safe. If you have any problems, be sure to call Rob. And we'll see you October the 18th. Meeting adjourned.